modern vampire stems from the evolutionary line of the Slavic vampire, though the transformation over the years has been great. The Slavic vampire first emerged in the Balkans at the beginning of the 9th century, and over time became a very significant figure in Slavic mythology. The causes of vampirism in the Slavic tradition revolved around problems associated with a person's birth or death. For example, a baby born with a tail or a membrane cap on his or her head, a person who had been excommunicated, or a suicide were all liable to become vampires. Murderers, thieves, drunkards, and witches were likely candidates as well. As vampire lore spread throughout Eastern Europe and Russia, it was modified by each country according to its respective beliefs and traditions. In the Czech Republic and Slovakia, the vampire is believed to have 2 souls and 2 hearts. The presence of the second soul is evident by the corpse's ruddy complexion, open eyes, 2 curls in its hair, and an absence of rigor mortis. This breed of vampire has the ability to kill its victims with a mere evil eye. In Poland, a person with a red face and a hyperactive personality is thought to be a future vampire. These types must be watched very closely. The Russian vampire, or Upir, has the ability to capture a victim's gaze with its evil eye and lead them to their grave. In the mid-15th century, Vlad Tepes, also known by the surname Dracula, was the Prince of Wallachia, an ancient kingdom now part of Romania. Vlad was the historical figure on which Bram Stoker based his Count Dracula. Though not considered a vampire in his day, there was some grounding for Stoker's interpretation. Vlad was known as a most severe ruler, who took great pleasure in impaling his enemies on long spikes, and was even rumored to drink of their blood. The true vampire of Romania was the Strigoi, of which there are 2 types, a living vampire and an undead version that has risen from the grave. In Romania, being born out of wedlock, dying before baptism, or being the 7th child of the same sex in a family can all cause one to become a Strigoi. The Strigoi Mort were those vampires who had risen from the dead. The term vampire was first used in a report concerning the incident that took place in Hungary in 1725. A peasant by the name of Peter Plogojowitz died and allegedly returned as a vampire and killed some 8 or 9 people in his village. The report claimed that Peter, 10 weeks following his death, turned into a vampire, visited people on their deathbeds, and strangled them. Hailing also from Hungary was another source of Bram Stoker's inspiration, Countess Elizabeth Batory. In the early part of the 17th century, Countess Batory tortured and murdered hundreds of young girls for their blood. She believed that by bathing in virgin blood, she could make her skin look younger. She even took to drinking the blood of prettier victims, thinking it would preserve her youth. Her first victims were peasant girls. When she failed to see any results after bathing in their blood, she was certain she needed the blood of a nobler class. In the end, she reportedly killed over 600 girls, both peasants and noble women. In 1611, she was captured, tried, and sentenced to spend the rest of her life in a small, windowless room in her castle. She died 2 years later.